I'm just going to tell a little story of how I picked this really quick. And I came onto the podcast, our meeting at 5:30, completely unprepared, even though I did know what we were going to talk about. I just hadn't had the time to look. And TJ was like, look really quick. And so I started to look, and it took me like 2 seconds. And you guys are both like, wow, that was fast. And it's because this is a great story that I know that you should both have heard before. But just in case any of our listeners haven't, the demon pig. The demon pigs.
Demon pig.
Oh, yeah,
demon pigs. Okay, so this is from Matthew. Jesus is basically like taking a walk, and I think he meets men. He meets men that are possessed, and they like ask him, "Can we want to?" The demons are like, "We want to get into these pigs. These like wild hogs." And Jesus is like, "Sure, go ahead, sure." So they hop in, and then these pigs like run off a cliff and drown themselves. Those are the highlight points that I remember. It's super weird, and I was trying to like remember. I know I've heard this preached on. I know I've heard this one preached on, and I couldn't remember like what was the moral of the story. Like what were we doing here, Jesus? But yeah, that one. I think like kind of scared me, honestly, for a long time. Like I still don't really fuck with pigs. I don't know. I picture them kind of creepy and
just all possessed.
Yeah.
I always wonder what the pigs did to deserve that.
Right? I know. And like, why would a demon want to come out of people and into pigs? Like that doesn't math for me as a demon.
I swear.
What are the pigs gonna do?
I heard that story the most as a kid, I think. Yeah. Like in Sunday school, for sure. I don't know what they were trying. They were trying to scare us. For sure.
All right, TJ, do you have any idea what the moral of the pig story was?
Hold on, I'm gonna look that up now.
Let's find the.
I should have figured this out.
Let's find the
pig demons in the Bible.
Matthew 8. Let's see the source text here. What we have.
Oh, it was Legion.
Oh, Legion. I was wondering if it was the Legion story. Oh, God,
we are many, always.
I say that all
Legion's
the time.
The scariest demon in the Bible. I'm just gonna say that.
Whenever I refer to like a multiplicity of things, I always say we are Legion because that just sounds so cool. It sounds so fucking cool. I didn't know that was the Legions because there's a couple of demon possession stories in the Bible, but I'm glad to hear that was the We Are Legion story. All right, let me see if I can find the passage here. Okay, Jesus sends the demons into pigs. Let's do a little Bible reading here. Oh, Jesus sends demons into pigs. Matthew 8:28. And when he came out to the other side of the country of the gardens, there two demon-possessed men confronted him as they were coming out of the tombs. They were so extremely violent that no one could pass by that way. And they cried out saying, "What business do you have with us, Son of God? Have you come here to torment us before the time?" I do remember them talking about this because like the demons know that they are free to roam the earth until, the resurrection and the last judgment. And they're like, hey, what's JC showing up early for? What's going on? And let's see, now there was a herd of many pigs feeding. Oh, hold on. What business do you have with the Son of God? Have you come to torment us before the time? Now there was a herd of many pigs feeding at the distance from them. And the demons begged him, saying, if you are going to cast us out, send us into the herd of pigs. And he said to them, go. And they came out and went into the pigs, and behold, the whole herd rushed down the steep bank into the sea and drowned in the waters. And the herdsmen ran away and went into the city, reported everything, including what had happened to the demon-possessed men. And behold, the whole city came out to meet Jesus. And when they saw him, they pleaded with him to leave their region. They said, Jesus, get the fuck out of here. You know how much money we lost on these pigs? It's our livelihood, bro. What are you doing?
That's your favorite part of that. That's incredible.
People got mad?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, the problem with our town 30 minutes ago was we had two crazy guys that hung out in the cemetery.
Yeah, they weren't bothering anybody. We all just walk around. We don't need a trail.
And now we've lost like our money and our food and our pork supply. You've ruined the economy of this entire town.
Not what we ordered on the list of miracles.
The only thing I remember from that was them talking about how pigs were unclean. I remember them mentioning that a whole lot with this story, but not a whole lot else. It was just a simple demon exorcism, And Kayla, I don't know why they asked to fly into the pigs because, they said if you're going to cast us out, let us go into the pigs. It's like, well, do demons need to possess a corporeal body?
Was it a pride thing? Exactly. Do they?
Yeah.
Or was it like a pride thing? Or were they just trying to make sure that Jesus didn't take him out for good? So they were like, let's get in these pigs. Okay. We'll just get rid of these bodies. And
what you got, Carla? What you got?
It says, when Jesus Christ was tempted by Satan, Satan asked him to do certain things, which he denied. But in Matthew 8, the demons wanted Jesus to drive them into pigs, and he did so. So basically, he falling into temptation, I guess, is what they taught us.
What?
But so that would mean Jesus fell into temptation, and he couldn't do that.
He actually fell one time, and then the herd ran into the water and drowned.
Well, that would mean Jesus isn't sinless, and the blood sacrifice would be negated. I guess it depends on your soteriology. I don't know. Who knows? It's all made up anyway. It's all made up anyway.
It's a lot to learn about at Sunday school when you're 8.
Really glad I just read that. I can't handle that.
What was that, Carla?
Said I'm really mad I just read that. My brain is like, whoa, chill.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that was the demon pig story. Demon possession stories.
It feels really hypocritical. Like, what?
And I just didn't understand
that's the actual message. What did they teach us then as kids? See?
But there's very little lesson to be learned. Like, their lesson is that the demons maybe they could go with the demons know God is real and the demons tremble, like in the book of James. But I can't get over the demons' reasoning here, because
that's what I'm saying. Like, they had to have made up whatever they taught us.
The demons went into the pigs, but the pigs immediately died. So what happened to the demons then? Like, I don't get it. I just I don't understand. That's
sorcery.
Yeah. Okay, so our next story comes from the book of Judges as well, and it is about the Levite and the concubine. This is a wild ride right here. So let's get started. Now a Levite. Just to describe what a Levite was before we can start going with this. Like, what the hell is a Levite? So a Levite is someone who was born and raised in the tribe of Levi. And the tribe of Levi was the priestly tribe. That was the tribe that Moses and Aaron came from. So whenever, you guys know the story about the Good Samaritan, and you have the story, you have the priest and you have the Levite. A Levite is supposed to be someone who's a little closer to God, a little more devoted to this, because you come from the tribe of the priest. So that's what a Levite is. We're going on here.
It's like a pastor's kid.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's a good comparison. That's a great way to put it. Now, a Levite who lived in a remote area in the hill country of Ephraim took a concubine from Bethlehem into Judah. A concubine. Would either of you like to tell us what a concubine is? Anyone want to let us know what the audience?
A lady friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
long-term lady.
As I was saying earlier, hooker.
She'll never be the main boo. She's just a friend.
Yeah,
but she's a repeat customer. Like
she's a junior wife, essentially. Yeah. It's
a companion, if you will.
Yeah. You have
side piece.
It's side piece. It's
captain
like
of the roster.
It's something that doesn't really exist in modern culture in a lot of ways, in that you're married, but you also have like a live-in mistress, essentially. That like you said, she's never going to be promoted to the A team, but she can still you can still have kids with her, and those kids are your sons.
That's the wild part. Like, it's fine. Yeah. You guys can build a whole living situation.
Have a whole family, but just know I'm the one.
Exactly.
Yeah. There is a HBIC on deck.
So he's going traveling, and his wife doesn't want to do that shit. So he's like, yeah, take the concubine with you. And so
she's like, I'm so tired of riding these fucking camels. Like, why do you have all these hoes around if you are not going to travel with them?
They need some work too. All right. So he travels and he meets this old man and asks to stay at his house, him and his concubine. You are welcome at my house, the old man said. Let me supply whatever you need. Only don't spend the night in the square. So he took him into his house and fed the donkeys. After they had washed their feet, they had something to eat and drink. While they were enjoying themselves, some of the wicked men of the city surrounded the house. Pounding on the door, they shouted to the old man who owned the house, saying, "Bring out the man who came to your house so we can have sex with him." This might sound a little familiar. This is suspiciously similar to the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, when Lot's daughters were accosted by actually, it was the angels that went to visit Lot, and the men of the city were pounding on the door saying they wanted to fuck the angels. And his response, the old man, is very similar to Lot's as well. And the owner of the house went outside and said to them, "No, my friends, don't be so vile. Since this man is my guest, don't do this outrageous thing. Look, here is my virgin daughter and his concubine. I will bring them out to you, and you can use them and do to them whatever you wish. But as for this man, don't do such an outrageous thing." But the men would not listen to him. So the man took his concubine and sent her outside to them, and they raped her and abused her throughout the night. And at dawn, they let her go. At daybreak, the woman went back outside to the house where the master was staying, fell down at the door, and lay there until daylight. When her master got up in the morning and opened the door of the house and stepped out to continue on his way, there lay his concubine, fallen in the doorway of the house, with her hands on the threshold. He said to her, "Get up, let's go." But there was no answer. Then the man put her on his donkey and set out for home. When he reached home, he took a knife and cut up his concubine limb by limb into 12 parts and sent them into all the areas of Israel. Everyone who saw it was saying to one to another, "Such a thing has never been seen or done, not since the days the Israelites came out of Egypt. Just imagine. We must do something. So speak up." Wild.
And that, folks, that's the story. That is the Bible story from beginning to end. That's just in there. And I just want to paint a clear picture for our listeners of what happened. Old girl, like, after getting raped all night because he sent her out there, crawled to his doorstep. And I missed this last night. Like, she died with her hands up on the threshold. Like,
Yep.
What?
Yeah, did you catch that? Hands on the threshold.
No.
And then this man comes out in the morning and says, "Get on the donkey. Let's go. Let's go."
Not
She
even,
doesn't-
"Hey, you good?" Just
doesn't seem to have a comment or remark. Yeah, like, and then just like throws her on the donkey. At this point, has he confirmed that he knows she's dead? We don't know yet. Throws her on the back of the donkey and then gets home and cuts her up into 12 pieces. For why? To send them to all the tribes of Israel and be like, "This is your fault, actually." Men in the Bible and the deflection is so real. When your daughter's not around to blame, just blame all of Israel.
Yeah, Carla, what Kayla said is correct. Right here is that at daybreak, the woman went. So she survived. She survived the initial encounter. At daybreak, the woman went back to the house where her master was staying. She fell down by the door and lay there until daylight. When her master got up in the morning and opened the door, stepped outside to continue on his way, his concubine had fallen in the doorway of the house with her hands on the threshold. So yeah, she made it back.
So what really happened is he probably slept through her beating and banging on the door.
He didn't step out to check if she was okay. I mean, just be why would this fucking guy? Does he sound like the type of guy who's gonna make sure she's all right and everything? And yeah, that's just it is like. You guys mentioned about how, your kids were property earlier, and women were property as well. And you saw that in both instances here, because the guy says, "All right, you don't have sex with this man. This guy is my guest. That would be very, inhospitable of me to do something like that. So here's my kid and a concubine." And they're like, no. But the guy's like, "Fuck it, throw the concubine. I don't care about her." And he tossed her out, like you said, raped to death. And this the callous nature of like, "All right, let's go. Come on, let's move it," and toss her on the donkey. It's funny you say he didn't check to see if she was dead. That's true, Kayla. He didn't check. It's like, I guess you didn't wake up by the time you got home. And yeah, that was that's the story right there. There's very little to say about this story, which is like this story is not brought up a lot in circles. Like there's not a real lesson here. The only time that I was taught it, they would always say that, well, this just shows the depravity that was going on during the book of Judges. And
it sure does. Yeah.
That's I don't know what to say. Yeah, that is an odd story.
And you think about like the Bible and all the debates over like missing books and stuff like that, and how like every word in the Bible is treated by Christianity as so precious. And to follow that logic, to have something in the Bible like that you just skip over all the time and don't preach about because it's so out there, does that not beg to call, or just get the wheels turning? That
right.
It's your precious word. God had his hand in everything that went in there. And then you got these random ass stories like that are horrific. Like, what? I don't know. That unsettles me.
There's a lot more. There's a lot more, folks. We could do this. We could do this every month with wild Bible stories. At least with these though, they're so obscure that people rarely talk about them. What really bothers me are the ones like we mentioned earlier with Abraham and Isaac that are really awful and people know it and it doesn't seem to bother them. Like you guys,
so true.
You guys remember the story when God sends 2 bears to maul those children?
Yeah.
I remember people saying that was their favorite Bible story. I can name people who told me that was their favorite Bible story. Go ahead, Kayla.
No, that's on brand for IFB. I bet there was so many people. Yeah. What?
I remember bringing this up on Facebook many years ago and saying, can anybody justify this? Like, in what sane moral system is it reasonable or justified for God to give these children like one of the most horrifying, gruesome deaths imaginable for making fun of a bald guy? Like, does that seem fair? And I'll never forget, there was this guy I went to college with. His name was Zach Broom. That was his name. Fucking, I don't care. And he commented, first off, they weren't kids, they were teens. And I've never forgotten that. I have never forgotten that, how funny that was. Okay. It's like, bro, right?
So I was like, kids.
Believe it or not,
category of childhood.
Well, yeah, I mean, who cares if they were 40? Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't change anything about the story. It's just not. Right. It's just like the way it warps and twists your morality to have to accept something like that. At least this story isn't claiming that this is good. I will give it that. It's just the cavalier nature with the way this stuff is discussed. And here's the ultimate thing about this. This is what I want to point out, is that everything about this is not me trying to say that I'm mad at the authors of these books or whatever. I'm not, because I want to talk to my brother about this, that the whole plan of salvation to me is kind of odd, that, God, like we talked about last episode, that his plan to save humanity was to sacrifice himself to himself in a, bloody torture in Bronze Age Palestine or whatever. And it's like, yeah, this book was written by ancient nomads. They were just primitive warlords who didn't know what the sun was. They were just that. If that's how you look at this, it all makes sense.
Yeah.
It all makes sense. Like, yeah, these are primitive people just trying to survive. They didn't know anything about existence, and they wrote these stories. And yeah, they were brutal. They were barbaric. They treated people. There was very
and it's amazing to me that would be so much more interesting. I would be like, let me get the Bible. I want to read this shit. What were they doing?
It is. It's a lot more interesting.
Jesus guy. Jesus is wild. I love him.
And it makes a lot more sense that way. Everything makes a lot more sense when you view it through that lens. So like once you stop like mystifying all this, it's like, then it's just an interesting read. It's like, wow, glad I wasn't alive back then, because it kind of would have sucked. But any closing thoughts from you folks?
I think we should definitely do more Bible story episodes. Yeah, but we'll let the listeners tell us. Y'all better listen to this episode. I guess it's a little late now. It's to say at the end.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Fun monthly thing to do. Write in the comments.
Give us Bible story suggestions.
Try
to stump us with one. Try to stump us with one. Those are
everyone's gonna stump me, because obviously I called the Old Testament the New Testament. Right after that.
That's good stuff.
All right, guys.
Catch you folks later.
Episode 20 out.